people are pointing to Travis Kelce on Pat McAfee Show. Two things of that. Obviously, what he said on there, he made a couple of good comments on there. But number one, he's got a playoff beard back, and dangerous things happen when Travis Kelce has his playoff beard, and that thing was full. I don't know if he's dying it still, JD, but that thing was nice and full and nice and dark. But he said on there, talking about his age, and everyone always loves to talk about his age and regression. But on that podcast, he talked about on Pat McAfee Show, he said he's feeling 22. Obviously, a Taylor Swift song. Feeling 22.
Yeah.
But he says he's feeling young. He's the 3 weeks off. Like you said, it was going to pay off dividends for a lot of the older guys in the squad, and one being him. And that's going to come out to be huge.
Yeah. Look, and the guy will tell you how he feels. Travis tells you exactly how he feels. You feel like he's 22 years old. It's beautiful for us. It's beautiful. And it's just telling me right now that he doesn't have any serious issues as far as with his body, how he's feeling. Feeling 22 right now, I think a lot of it has to do with the playoffs in itself, okay? And knowing that they have a chance and opportunity to do something historic that's never been done before. So these guys, they haven't left or lost anything as far as like what the main thing needs to be, okay? The main thing is still the main thing, right? It's not about getting MVP of the league. It's not about getting all these different accolades that doesn't equate to having a Lombardi. A Lombardi is what that is, okay? Pure and simple. So, see, somebody was asking a question. Rick Ledoux said, here's a good question. Who do you think is better, Travis Kelce or Rob Gronkowski? That's a very good question. Very good question. Two different guys, man, two different games. That's why I look at it. Travis, man, the way his yak yards and the things he's able to do, it's hard to see. I've said this, Rick Ledoux. The two best tight ends ever played a game are Chiefs guys, okay? It's Tony Gonzalez and Travis Kelce, okay? So that answers your question. I think Travis is definitely better than Rob. Rob was a bad boy, no doubt about it. But as far as what Trav gives and what he's done out there, longevity is wild as well. Like, same thing with Tony TG. I think definitely that. No, everybody, go ahead, Marcus.
I was going to ask you. I don't think we've ever talked about this before, but what are your thoughts? I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about this aspect before. But Kelce, when Iverson came into the league, right? Iverson kind of was this. He was beyond the basketball court. He was kind of like, he kind of changed the culture, right? Guys are dressing differently. It was the whole different when Iverson came, like, right? Guys weren't like, suits anymore. It was, he just changed it. And now we see guys going to games in different outfits, all that stuff. And you could say Iverson kind of broke that mold by, kind of breaking the traditional mold of guys going to games with suits on, all that stuff. It was beyond basketball. It became a bigger thing. And do you think Kelce's kind of done the same thing? Maybe not for the NFL, but like for the tight end position itself, making it a cooler position, making people know what it is more, kind of breaking the mold of like, hey, like tight ends can date famous pop stars and rock stars too. It's not only quarterbacks doing that, right? Tight ends can be that guy. Tight ends can have their reality show. Tight ends can have the badass podcast, right? It's not only retired players doing it. It's current people doing that. And I think he's like kind of changed the game in a way. It has its own cereal. It's like tight ends weren't really getting that notoriety. NFL players were, sure, that your quarterbacks and wide receivers were. The tight ends, not so much, right?
Well, shoot, I would even say just for the NFL players. I don't know any NFL player that has done the extensive body of work that Travis has done, especially in commercials, TV shows, kind of be iconic, dating certain, as far as the biggest pop star, there's been guys that's been close, right? There's been guys that has been close. But for his character, his personality and whatnot, I can't think of anybody right now who has been, I guess, at least on that level that they've put out there as like, you know what I mean? Like as far as face-wise, who's done something like that, especially while they're playing. Maybe after the game, sure. Maybe the biggest one, was Tom Brady and Giselle, right? Everybody was kind of talking about. But Tom Brady wasn't on, as far as
Want to make some quick cash and have fun during the NFL playoffs? Well, it's time to embrace your inner underdog. Over the last 3 weeks, we have given 11 selections and we have cashed on 10 of those, predicting higher or lower on multiple different player statistics. So we are ready to continue this heater into the playoffs. So if you have yet to download the Underdog app, do so now and get free cash. Click the link in the description or use promo code CHIEFCONCERNS, one word, to claim your free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. It's NFL playoff season, so let's continue to keep the good vibes in 2025.
TV and stuff. He was never that guy. He ain't going on SNL.
It was a QB too. I mean, it was like QB that's already kind of built into the whole thing. Like, you need to be able to have that marketability aspect. You need to be able to sell a brand. Where tight ends, not really, right? You guys are in the trenches. You guys are kind of gritty, but like he's kind of taken that, like he's kind of made tight end more of a QB type position because everyone knows it, and people who don't even watch football know who he is, know what a tight end is. He's changed it.
He has transcended the thing to the point of being where now the whole world knows who he is. And a lot of it maybe with Taylor Swift, of course, but then all of a sudden more people start watching football. They're like, oh well, now look what else he's doing. Now look what else he's in. Now look what else he's, and he has a lot of some comedy chops to him as well. So that's almost on the plane of like Peyton. Peyton does a good job with it. I like Peyton and him and Eli. Them jokers are funny. That was two funny jokers right there. But other than that, man, I can't think of anybody that was playing and was doing what they were doing. I think somebody put up there Jim Brown. Mike Brennan said Jim Brown. Yeah, I mean, kind of the time, man. But Jim, it was like a different time. Mike, just for the simple fact with how the exposure guys get now, it's a lot different. I don't know. Jim Brown wasn't dating the biggest pop star either. I know Jim was doing a few movies here and there, but as far as that, I didn't really see.
And also too, like I feel like even we're both big TG fans and big football fans, right? So like I feel like TG didn't change the game so much so that you had casual kids. Like my brother said, for the freshmen, because he was a freshman coach, he said the 8th graders, right before they go, because where we have school, we don't have middle school football. So it's like middle school teams have your local youth clubs, and then 8th grade going to 9th grade year, that's where you start to meet with the high school coaches and all that stuff. He said he had 2 lines that were the most full this year of guys who wanted to play a certain position. What were those 2 positions that had the most amount of kids who want to play those positions? Quarterback and tight ends. Those are 2 positions that people want to play the most. When I was growing up, you had to make kids take them out of the receiver, nah, or linemen, nah, you could be a tight end. But the fact that kids are flocking to tight end positions, kids are flocking to QBs now, it's no coincidence. It's the time where the main one of the biggest stars in the world right now is dating a tight end who happens to be one of the. You can't watch TV you can't watch TV for 20 minutes without seeing a Jason Kelce or Travis Kelce commercial or some sort anymore. You just can't avoid it anymore.
I think there's a number of reasons because of that, right? So if we're thinking, there's a lot of different variables. Okay, so I'll talk about a couple of them here. Obviously, it is the exposure that you're seeing with Travis Kelce, but I also do believe, and this as well, in high school, you kind of get into a body type which you don't quite know where you stand, right? You got a lot of guys in high school who are linebacker, tight end-esque type of size. Now coaches also seeing the benefit of having a tight end who can catch a football and also block. That's another thing I think that Travis brings to the table that he does a lot of too, that people don't really give him a lot of credit for, is the blocking that he has. Now, kind of talk about you were saying about TG, and I think a lot of it had to do with, you were talking about it, primetime TV. When me and TG were playing, we didn't really have primetime TV games like it is now. Yeah, I mean, you got how many Netflix, Prime, I mean, you name it. I mean, they're on everything. YouTube. There's no reason why you can't see an NFL football game. Social media, thank Rick, that's another thing too. And so it was just a different time where guys are now being able to be seen. So if you now see a guy who's doing SNL, doing skits, him and his brothers doing a podcast is very successful. Um, it's just different. It's just different. So I know here in Kentucky, there's a lot of games people didn't get to see because the market out in Kansas City would get to see the games there. And it was hard to find like a jersey of Kansas City here or hard to get a Kansas City game out this way.
Yep.
And it's just because of the TV deals and stuff like that, the way it was structured was totally different. So I think it's some of the variables.
Back when you played, I mean, we were lucky to get like 2 prime time games, or like lucky to have a 4:25 game was a Chiefs Raiders kind of thing. But like, yeah, it was very rare to have a prime time Chiefs game. But yeah, maybe 2 a year, like a Sunday night and a Monday night game, like a Sunday night against the Raiders at the end of the season, and maybe like an early season Monday night game or something.
Yeah, it's true. That's the way it was. So they named the guys that been out there. Broadway Joe, my nephew says, Broadway Joe. Broadway Joe was kind of I think he was the one that kind of broke the mold a little bit, kind of during that time, as far as the way he was viewed. I would say shout out to Fred Williamson. Yep, the Hammer. Old school about time. Old school man. I want to ask your age about time, but that's you saying some names out there, man. You saying some names. You gotta be around about my age. So
Tony Romo, remember Jessica Simpson when she was at the top of her game too? That was a big deal.
It was, but Jessica Simpson,
she was pretty big at the time.
She was.
She fell off big time, like shortly thereafter.
Pretty girl too. That was another thing, So, but Tony Romo was. It's just, I think, marketability. Somebody else said it, marketability as well. So that's what people want to. They want to find people that have that type of personality and character. And Travis, he embodies all of that. He embodies being a superstar. Really does.
Yeah, and also, I just think like quarterbacks, the dawn of time have always been kind of that star. Like, right, we talk about like that. The teams, we still to this day, like when Fox shows up their graphic, we're talking about the Bengals and it's Joe Burrow versus the I don't know, even Brock Purdy, 49ers, and it's Brock Purdy's graphic. It's like, why are those two the faces of the team you're putting out there when you're talking about those two teams against each other? It's just the quarterback. It's what it is. That's the ones they're putting out there in the forefront. So yeah, of course they're always going to be the ones out there, but then Kelce's breaking the mold for tight ends to be the position that everybody wants to be and be the guy that celebrities want to date now. There you go.
Yeah. My nephew said, no, I say no. OJ.
I almost said it earlier.
Hey, that's true. That's true. And then all of a sudden, that sucker, the dude turned sour. All the wrong reasons. Well, he started getting pub. But before that, man,
he was hilarious. He was hilarious in Naked Gun.
Yeah, he was. He was. Jumping over the what's that? The bags over in the airport for Hertz.
That's right. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.